What's going on, everyone? Designedcoma here. Welcome back. The gameplay you're watching is me playing some team deathmatch in Black Ops 3. So, what do we got for today's video? Well, we got a couple things we're going to talk about. First up is backwards compatibility. The next thing, I'm going to kind of keep it to myself until I start to talk about it, because this is a place I used to go to a lot, and it was a cool place. And I'll even give you some details, you know, as far as, you know, why I think this place was cool and everything. But backwards compatibility, you know, there's been a lot of talk. I keep getting, you know, my Twitter keeps going crazy with Black Ops 1 is going to be backwards compatible with Xbox One and things like that. You know, I mean that's cool and all, but whoa, what do we got going on over here? What in the sneak? You're not a very good sniper. I don't know what that guy was doing, but he's gonna shoot somebody through the table there, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so back to the backwards compatibility thing. You know, back when PlayStation 2 launched, you know, that was like one of the biggest things that was being talked about. It's like, you know, am I gonna be able to play my PS1 games on my PS2? You know, it was one of those things, you know, it's just, am I going to be able to do it? And then PS3 launches. Am I going to be able to play my PS2 games on my PS3? So for a while there, you know, there was backwards compatibility, you know, and when the next gen consoles came out, the PS4 and Xbox One, you know, it was kind of just, you know, tossed out there. You know, we're not going to do backwards compatibility. And they pretty much stuck to it, you know, and this was in terms of the physical disc. Now, PlayStation came out with the store where you can go and you can rent, you know, whatever game it is you want to play, and you'll have it for whatever amount of time, and you know, and you can play it. Now, you know, then the Microsoft came out with their store where basically, if you physically owned the game at one point, you still basically have, you know, you still have the right to that game, so you can play that game if it's available in the store. Now, to be honest with you guys, I just really don't see a need for the backwards compatibility anymore on the newer systems, because it just, I don't know, it honestly doesn't make sense to me. Now, maybe that's because I'm just a tech guy, you know. I'm big on technology. I'm serious. If I could buy every single piece of technology, I literally would. I mean, I am a tech junkie, and it drives me crazy when something new comes out and I literally, you know, I can't get it. It drives me nuts. It really does. You know, that's just the way I am. You know, I love technology, but I like to see things moving forward, you know. Now, backwards compatibility is cool and all, don't get me wrong. I mean, it was great when I was able to play some of my favorite PS2 games on PS3 and so forth, and, you know, whatnot. But at the same time, you know, it's one of those things where sometimes we just have to move on, you know, and it's just time, you know. We can't keep, you know, doing this backwards compatibility deal. You know, as much as I love playing, you know, some PS3 games, you know, it just is, you know. I mean, I tried some of the games in the store, you know, at that time when it was like in beta. I got to do the beta for it, and you know, it wasn't too bad. It played pretty decent, and the cool thing about it is, you know, you were able to get your game saves and stuff from the server. So, you know, it was really cool when you were able to do that, when you just go in and grab a game that you wanted to try out. I can't remember which one I did. I think it was Dead Island. It was Dead Island, and I went in there and it had you know, a bunch of it had my game saves from my PS3, you know, because, you know, the whole cloud deal, you know, which was pretty cool. And so yeah, that was pretty awesome. But you know, I'm just over this whole backwards compatibility thing, you know. And I know Xbox, you know, has been, I mean, you know, they're starting to pick up a little bit, you know, their sales are picking up, you know, from what I understand. But at the same time, you know, I just feel like this is a thing of, I almost feel like it's a gimmick, to be honest with you, you know. If I could buy Xbox One, I would. Don't get me wrong, I would. Because there are some games that I want to play on the Xbox One that are not available on PS4, you know. But I'm not the type of person who plays, you know, I don't buy the same game for both systems. I did that in the past, and it's just expensive as heck. And you know, if I had a bunch of you know, just money just laying around, it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. But you know, that's kind of the thing. You know, I don't know how anybody else feels about backwards compatibility. I know my friends are kind of done with the backwards compatibility. They don't really care about it. It's not something that, it's not a selling feature for us anymore. It just isn't, at least for us, you know. So I mean, if anybody has any opinions about it, I'd love to hear it. I really would. I'd really like to hear, you know, how you feel about backwards compatibility. Is it worth it? You know, should they even bother with it anymore? I mean, you know, what's the point? You can go to GameStop and buy one of the consoles for super cheap, right? So yeah, that's kind of where I feel about the backwards compatibility thing. So the next thing I want to talk about is something I just happened to come across. Now, maybe some people haven't heard of this store. Probably like the younger kids, you know, I should say. We're talking about Circuit City. Alright, now this was a competitor to Best Buy at the time, and Circuit City for me was a cooler store. I don't know why, I just felt like it was a cooler store. Okay, because at the time Best Buy was kind of starting to get into other areas other than you know, computers and game consoles and CDs and, you know, stereos, you know, basically all that stuff. They started getting into like refrigerators and coffee makers and vacuums and things like that. And Circuit City was one of those stores that really just didn't mess around with that kind of stuff. Now maybe that was their downfall. I honestly don't know. But at the same time, you know, Circuit City to me was just a store where I could go to and just look at, you know, technology is really what I wanted. And Best Buy was like that for a while, and then eventually it just kind of got a little weird and things started changing. So here's the thing. Circuit City is back. I kid you not. Circuit City is coming back. Now, I'll leave a link in the description for this article, but they're coming back, and the store that they're going to open is, I lost it in the article here. Let me find it real quick. Hopefully I can find it real quick. No, you know, I'll just go through the article, and eventually I'm going to find it. So, Dallas, Texas. They're going to open a store in Dallas, Texas. This is going to be like the first store. This is where the first store is going to open up. Obviously, it's going to be one of those test deals and that kind of stuff. But here's a little bit of, you know, insight as to what the stores are going to have. And this is really the kind of store I'm looking for, because Best Buy, to be honest with you, has just gotten a little nuts. The stores are going to range, you know, from about 2,000 to 4,000 square feet. They're going to feature product zones that present the assortment by category and brand. Targeted directly at millennials. Okay, I'm not a millennial, but you know, whatever. It'll include pre- and post-paid smartphones, tablets, notebooks, wearables, networking equipment, gaming products, headphones, drones, 3D printers, health appliances. I'm not sure what they mean by that. Maybe scales, digital scales, and some DIY devices. Supplemented by a service desk, electronic price tags, touch screen terminals, and so on and so on. Now, I got my first generation Xbox One or not Xbox One, Xbox One, first generation Xbox One. I got my first generation Xbox 360 at Circuit City. It was really cool. It was like a whole gamer pack. I mean, it came with 2 controllers. I think it had a game in it. I can't remember. The console, I think a year of live or something like that. But yeah, you know, so yeah, Circuit City's on its way back. I'm going to leave a link in the description for this article, and you know, to be honest with you, this is really cool. I'm excited for this. I really hope one hits Michigan. Truly, I do. I miss Circuit City. It was a great store. It really was. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.